Hey guys, it's David. Another story from the book of John. So, we're going to talk about the kind of faith to believe Jesus at his word. So, this comes from John chapter 4, starting in verse 46. And he says, he came to Cana in Galilee, where he made the water into wine, and at Capernaum, where there was an official whose son was ill. When this man heard that Jesus had come from Judea to Galilee, he went to him and asked him to come down to heal his son, for he was at the point of death. So Jesus said to him, "Unless you see signs and wonders, you will not believe." The official said to him, come down, come down before my child dies." Jesus said to him, "Go, your son will live." The man believed the word that Jesus spoke to him and went on his way. As he was going down, his servants met him and told him that his son was recovering. So he asked them the hour when he would begin to be better, and they said to him, "Yesterday at the 7th hour the fever left him." The father knew that the hour when Jesus had said to him, "Your son will live," and he himself believed, and all his household. This was the second sign that Jesus did when he had come from Judea to Galilee. So Jesus finally makes it to Galilee. This is after the woman at the well. He finally comes into Galilee. And specifically, he's in Cana, but there's a guy in a place called Capernaum. And just recap, son is sick. He comes to Jesus and asks him to heal him. And Jesus just tells him, "Go, your son will be healed." That's not what the man asked Jesus. He asks him, "Come down before my child dies." And the answer he gets from Jesus is, "Go, your son will be healed." What kind of faith does it take to just believe Jesus at his word? Too often I think we look at God and expecting God like, "I'm asking for this, and this is how you're going to bring it about." Because if you look at the story, this is not a short walk. The distance between Cana and Capernaum is about 25 miles. Looked it up. It's about a 2-day walk. This man walked 2 days to go to Jesus, for Jesus just to say, "Okay, turn around, go back. Your son will be healed." And it says that the man believed the word that Jesus spoke to him, and he went on his way. What I think is so interesting about people's encounter with Jesus, and you even see this with the story of the centurion in Scripture, where he comes up to Jesus. There's this recognition that there's something of authority on this man. That he knows Jesus is capable of something in power, and he has the ability to do things. And just at his word from a far off distance, he has enough faith to say, "That's enough." And it's very humbling to accept God's deliverance on God's terms. So my encouragement for us today is, if there's something you're praying for, asking for, may we be people who really seek after the voice of the Lord. And as we are deciphering what God's saying to us, be willing to accept that answer. Because that was not what the man was asking for. Yes, he wanted his son healed, but he was thinking, "Hey, Jesus is going to come down. He's going to heal my servant like this." And he just gets a word instead. And I think that's so cool is Jesus answers his prayer, but the man doesn't know any different. He just knows Jesus said something, and he goes and believes. And I just think that's so cool when he asks the servants, when was he starting to recover? And he's like, "Oh, about the 7th hour." And this man's like, "That's when Jesus said he will be well." Kind of like God was already at work in the story, even before the man, even before the man set foot back on his path home. God was already at work. And I think that's an encouraging thing to think about, is even in our darkest moments, God's still already at work. Even though there's situations where, like, I don't have a clue what's going on next, God's already still at work. I say that it is hard to believe that, but that's where I'm encouraged by this man, is looking at the authority of Christ and saying, hey, by your word, it will be done. So praying, slowing down, deciphering God's voice, and believing him that, hey, when I read your word, and when it says, like in Colossians, that is Christ in me, the hope of glory, then that's the hope of glory. When Paul talks about, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength, that's coming from a context of I can endure all sorts of tragedies, pain, suffering, setbacks, misfortunes. I can work through all these things through Christ who strengthens me. Then I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me to endure those things. So that is my encouragement for us today, is when we believe we've actually heard God's voice, we've prayed about it, we've discerned it, we've searched scripture for it, we've gotten confirmation from other people, then we rest in that. So thank you guys for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.